Photoshop Elements contains a new blur filter. It's the only new filter in the program, and it can be used for smoothing out skin tones. So for instance, let's look at this image here. We'll just go down to blur and then down to surface blur. And you'll notice immediately, especially if I turn the preview off and then turn it on again, how it smooths out skin tones. Now you've got to be a little bit careful about how you apply this filter, because it can make the skin appear very blurry, or make the whole image even appear very blurry and the skin appear quite plasticky. So just be very careful how you apply this new filter to your image. In fact, I would suggest you use a non-destructive method for applying the filter. So if we cancel out of the filter to start with, I'm just going to grab the background layer and drag it up to the new layer button. That way we get a complete copy of the background layer. I'm then going to go in and select the filter from the filter menu, so go down to blur and then down to surface blur. I'm going to apply the filter in such a way that will make a change to the image that you can see here. I'm going to click OK. And now I have the upper layer is the layer that has been blurred. The lower layer still has all the sharpness of the part of the original. This gives me a lot more control over how I actually can mix the blurred area with the sharp area. For instance, I can just go up to the opacity slider and drag down the opacity slider, and I will get a mix of both the texture from beneath and the blur from above. If I want to be a little bit more specific about the areas that I want to be blurred and the areas that I want to remain sharp, I can select the upper background copy, that's the one that's been blurred, and I can go over and then choose an eraser. Now remember, the eraser tool has a couple of different modes. If I go up to the mode option at the top here, we can work with a brush, a pencil or a block. So make sure you select brush as your option. And then look at the kind of brush that you're working with. I want to work with a soft edged brush. So I'm just going to click the soft edge brush here, and there it is. The size of the brush is that size. I'm actually going to work a soft edge brush and go up and just drop down the opacity a little bit so that we're not removing all of the image in a single step. Then I'm going to start to erase back the parts of the upper image that I want to remain sharp. So what I'm doing here is actually removing part of the upper image, that is the blurred image, in order to let the sharp image from beneath show through. So clothing and hair are important to remain sharp. Skin tones we want to be quite soft, but places like eyes we want to be sharp as well. So I'm just going to make the brush tip smaller, so that's the left hand square bracket. Paint over these areas. Lips as well, we'll keep those sharp as well. And just tips of the nose. Anywhere there where there should be some contrast, we'll make sure. Just this little hair piece up the top here as well. Now if I turn the upper layer off or hide it using the eye icon on the left of the entry, you will see the original image and then see the after image when I put it back on again. Original image and then after. So we've been able to maintain the sharpness of the original image from beneath in the parts of the picture that we want that sharpness to be, and then applied some of the new surface blur filter to the skin tones to soften that skin tone and remove any texture, or just soften up the texture. And remember, you can fine-tune this effect by then going through and adjusting the opacity, because you probably want just a little bit of the skin texture coming through from beneath anyway. Have a go at that technique.